Trump is promising mass deportation. Can he really do that? Let's find out how is it really possible in this 2024 with so many millions of people undocumented. So, in the aftermath, it's very clear Trump's election to a second term as a president, attention has turned to his highest profile campaign promise that mass deportation of millions of undocumented immigrants living in the United States. So that's what he's promising, that he will gonna remove all these 11 million people. But uncertainty remains about the scope of Trump's plan very clear. Who exactly does he want to deport? And he will actually be able to carry out a mass deportation operation. Is that really possible? Okay, here's the answer. Trump and his allies say they will focus on violent criminals staging rallies with protests of mugshots showing alleged illegal immigrants, gang members, and talking about immigrants as invaders who are poisoning the country and their bad gene. So, now the question is, can he really do that? But the fine print is always the same as it was. So when they say criminals, they mean all roughly 11 million undocumented people in this country, United States. So most of whom have lived in the United States here for years and years, have family and loved one who are also US citizens and have never committed a serious crime. But they committed crime, small crime. Now the real question is whether Trump has the real power to turn his campaign pledge into the reality. We'll find out in details, and let's see, can he really keep his words? So the short answer is almost certainly that Trump will not be able to deport every unauthorized immigrant in this country, United States. But that doesn't mean Trump's effort won't harm millions of people in this country who are undocumented. While most discussions of immigrants and deportation focus on removal of people encountered at US-Mexico border every single year. So now, removing unauthorized immigrants who have established lives within this country is a separate and typically much slower process than even you think, than even what Trump is thinking. So there is no modern precedent for deporting even 1 million migrants from within the United States in a single presidential term. So let alone several million. So in recent history, the single most efficient president at removing unauthorized immigrant from the interior of US was only one, Barack Obama. I'm talking technically, whose first administration deported roughly 872,000 migrants from inside this country. So, Trump's first term, by contrast, fell well short of half of that figure compared to Obama. So this time around, the scale of Donald Trump's deportation policy will ultimately depend on how skillfully his administration navigates the logistic and legal hurdles that have always obstructed mass deportation. Now, if he pursues the most aggressive form of his campaign promises, as outlined by key advisors in recent months in his campaign rally, so erecting detention camps, aggressive interior policing, and attack against key temporary legal protection held by millions of undocumented people, Trump's second term will likely be more indiscriminate and punitive than his first. So, more than punitive than his first. So, now, though legal challenges may slow him down, Donald Trump has broad power to pursue mass deportation in this country. So, and he's made very clear that he intends to use it to the maximum level this time. So, U.S. immigration enforcement agencies do not treat all unauthorized immigrants the same as you are thinking or as Donald Trump is thinking. So, who is actually undocumented? So we'll talk about it. Who is actually undocumented? In order to understand who is actually undocumented, Trump will try to deport. It's important to get our definition very straight. That means defining who's considered undocumented, right? and within that group, who's actually legally and practically be able to deport it quickly as possible if you really have to go with the promise of campaign. So roughly around 11 million undocumented people lived in this country, United States, as of 2022, according to both Department of Homeland Security and Pew Research Center's most recent estimates. That those are 11 million. So estimates of the undocumented population includes people who have like temporary protection from deportation, such as people who are applying for asylum even if they cross the border without authorization. So that is, in other words, called illegal immigrants. So on the other hand, the undocumented population estimates do not include naturalized citizen green card holders or approved refugees or people who have been granted asylum and people with temporary lawful status like student with visas. So there are a lot of questions lying down around here, but let's see, can he really do that? So the main question is, who can Donald Trump deport quickly as possible, right? So defining the various kinds of groups considered undocumented is important because these distinctions get to the heart of Trump's mass deportation campaign promise, and he really want to keep that promise. He doesn't want to break because he doesn't want to. He want to go to the full. Trump won't be able to deport everyone immediately. That's very clear. That's very clear. He cannot ever do that, even if he has full power. So some people have received what are known as final order of removal, meaning an immigration judge has determined they can be deported. So in recent reports also citing unnamed official put the figure between 1.4 to 1.5 million people. So these many people can be deported. But I think what's most likely is the main pathway to deportation will be people who have local criminal justice involvement and then get transferred to ICE. That's what I think. And probably 1.4 to 1.5 million people getting deported quickly, that can be highly possible. But deporting all 11 million people, that's way too not possible. Donald Trump can never ever do that. So, of course, he made a lot of promises because in this country, can you imagine almost more than 300 million people? From those 300 million people, you got to find out 11 million damn people undocumented, and that is pretty hard. And how many policemen, how many security people who are for the borders, and how many of them can really scan all this country and really take this out of this country? I mean, 11 million people. It's impossible. It's not possible. Only, of course, if God really puts it in hands and then he can just pick it out on 11 million people, only then it's possible. What I think is the best way, what the United States can really do is they can deport 1.4 to 1.5 million undocumented immigrants, but on the other hand, the remaining, at least they can give them green cards or legal status for work, asylum, whatever. So in this way, people will be legal here, they'll be working normally, they can take care of their families, and nothing will get disturbed. So in this sense, the entire country might become legally, and from there, they can really block the borders, and that's how the problem can really get resolved. But believe me, even if you're spending for 1 million people, to deport 1 million people, it takes $80 billion. Can you imagine if you have to deport 11 million people? That is crazy. It goes almost around $900 billion. That is insane. And the United States is never going to really spend that amount of money. That is not possible. They ain't going to spend almost $1 trillion just deporting people, right? They're not going to spend that. What I think the best way is to give them legal status, and probably they might go and work, take care of the families, and the country might become nice and clean. But to make the laws for the police, for the people, for the criminal and all more strict. This is one thing the United States can become much cleaner and much safer place than ever before. You can grant them, probably after deporting 1.5 million, you can grant them legal status, but make the laws and the rules and regulations more strict So these people will not commit crime. If you commit crime, when you are granting probably the legal status, the court or the Department of Homeland Security, they can also tell that we will grant you this, okay? But if you commit any crime, you will be deported. So this is how probably everyone can really come in, and they will be, how can I say, they will be in the system. 11 million people can be in the system, and they can really track them where they are. But if they commit crime, story finish. That's how they can really track them. That's how they can really make them stay in this country, and that's how they can even remove from this country by granting work permit. That's the biggest thing, what I think personally, but honestly this is just my opinion. I'm not telling the Homeland Security honestly to do this, but what I'm thinking, this is only with my perspective. But guys, let me know in the comments below what do you think and where this mass deportation will go, and probably it might go on the wrong side and even on the right side, but we don't know, because it takes a lot of money, almost $1 trillion to deport 11 million people. That's Donald Trump really got to think that. Of course, he wants best for this country, and I am not against him. I'm with him, and I like how he really thinks. He's very technically, very straight and to the point. That's what I love about Donald Trump, because he doesn't waste time. He doesn't speak any crap, any bullshit. He gets to the point. He wants the job to get done. But only my concern is, how can he do that? Because there are a lot of millions of people, and taking out 11 million undocumented people, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And of course, the government doesn't want to really flesh down $1 trillion removing undocumented 11 million people. And it's pretty hard. So it's better for me, what I think, what I just said, that give them status and track them where they are. That's the best part. So thank you so much, and probably see you in the next video. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more and more videos and for more exciting videos. And let me know in the comments below what kind of videos do you like, and you will have that kind of videos too. Thank you. See you in the next video.